President Donald Trump will be right here in Georgia tomorrow visiting Wheeler High School to talk about his Trump accounts. And this visit is generating a lot of questions from parents about how these accounts compare to traditional college savings plans. I am definitely one of those parents. My child was born in 2025, so we kind of qualified for this $1,000, but we're also looking into the college plan. And so we have the perfect person to talk about it. Here with us is Bethany Whetzel, Treasury Program Director for the state of Georgia. Bethany, thank you so much for being here to break this down for us.
Thank you so much for having me, Savannah. I'm excited to be here.
So, can you give me just quickly a summary on kind of what Trump accounts are if it's kind of the first time people are hearing about it? My question this morning, honestly, was, well, why is he talking to high schoolers about this? Is it beyond just the babies who get $1,000?
Yeah, so exactly. That is a great question because I do think a common misunderstanding is that it's only babies that qualify for Trump accounts. It's anyone who's under the age of 18 that has a social security number currently qualifies for a Trump account. Now, those who qualify for the $1,000 federal government seed funding, those are babies. So those are those babies born in 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028. But what they are long-term savings and investment vehicles that will operate similar to a traditional IRA and are created for the purpose of kind of long-term wealth building for kids. So it's important that those students are spoken to because some of them are going to be eligible for Trump accounts. They will eventually have children that are eligible for Trump accounts. And really, it just raises awareness of saving early and saving consistently.
Okay, so before we talk about like the babies side of things and what parents should know, I do want to talk about while we're on the high school student side of things. Like if a student wants to open one of these accounts or invest, like how does this compare with something like a high yield savings account, for instance? Or is there something that a high school student's parents should be doing, or how do those savings accounts compare? What's the best bang for their buck?
So that's really going to depend on the goal of the savings. So, if you're using a high yield savings account, that gives you access to the funds um, a little more easily than a Trump account, but there might not be the tax benefits that are available to a Trump account. So a Trump account does have some tax benefits. The growth on that account is tax deferred. And then once you become 18 and you can access those funds, it's going to follow the traditional and IRA rules, which if you withdraw funds for certain purposes before the age of 59 and a half, there may be, you'll pay taxes just on the earnings. You won't pay a penalty. But with a high yield savings account, you may pay income tax on those earnings when you withdraw that money. So, or when the earnings are made that year. So there's just some different aspects that you have to think about. Are you putting that money in the high yield savings account because you want to be able to access it sooner or have more flexibility? Or are you saving that money because you want to do some long term wealth building with investment options and for retirement?
Okay, so let's talk about college now. My husband and I had our daughter in June 2025. So we're looking at, okay, the Trump accounts, you go in the app, it shows you, how the money can grow up until she's 18. But also we have the 529 savings plans in Georgia. I'm seeing it, the Path to College is what we call it. And I'm seeing that some recent changes were made, raising the lifetime maximum to $550,000 and eliminating the state administrative fee. Can you talk to us about what all that means and what the best approach might be for someone trying to save for their infant's college down the line?
Right. So again, a 529 plan, which is what Path to College in Georgia is, our investment vehicles that are specifically designed for saving for education. And if you invest in Path to College or a 529 plan, you receive certain tax benefits. Those being tax deferred growth, so you're not paying taxes on the growth as it happens, and then tax free withdrawals when they are withdrawn for qualifying education expenses. And then if you contribute to Path to College and you're a Georgia taxpayer, you can receive a very generous income tax deduction from your Georgia tax. And so there's triple tax benefits for that. And also, what 529 plans aren't just for qualifying education expenses after the age of 18 or for college. You can use it up to $20,000 for K through 12 expenses. That includes tuition, educational therapies, tutoring, testing fees. So it's really expansive. You can use it also for apprenticeship programs. So you're able to access those funds pretty early on, and there's flexibility as to how you can transfer those funds back and forth between beneficiaries. But like you mentioned, the state just waived the entire admin fee, which means that we have the lowest cost plan in the nation. Our average investment fee is 6 basis points, and we just raised the maximum account balance cap to $550,000. So there's no cap on the amount of contributions that can be made to a Path to College account in a year. It's just that the account balance for the beneficiary can't exceed $550,000. And that's a little bit different from a Trump account where you can only contribute currently right now up to $5,000 per year to that account. And so you just really got to think about your strategy and what your goal is. But 529 counts were specifically designed for saving for education and really give those tax benefits for those who that's their goal, is to save for education.
Yeah. So, I mean, talk to me about the changes made to 529. Why were those made in Georgia? Was it to entice, more people to open these accounts?
Yes, exactly. So one is that we recognize that there are rising costs for college. Our maximum account balance cap was at $235,000, and just what we've seen with the increase in college expenses, that was raised to the kind of national average that state plans have of $550,000. Unfortunately, that there are post-secondary opportunities that do cost that much. So that was the reason that was raised, and that was a decision by the legislature, and we thank them for recognizing that. And then we just recognize that we are able to run our program really leanly, and that we wanted to make sure that Georgians were getting the best bang for their buck, if you will, and we're able to lower those fees to make sure that we remain the lowest cost plan in the nation and also the best options for Georgians saving for education.
So I and maybe people my age, were raised by boomers, like a generation where, college was not a question. It was not, an option for me. It was like, you're going. But I think here in
Exactly.
2026, like it's not a foregone conclusion anymore. So if I open a 529 for my daughter and she decides she wants to go to trade or not go to university, what options do I have for that money that we had been investing all this time?
Right. That is such a great question because you really are recognizing that the post-secondary landscape has changed. So you can, if your daughter decided to go to some kind of trade school or do some kind of apprenticeship program or do some kind of certification, you can use that would be a qualifying education expense. You could move that money to another beneficiary. The account can be open indefinitely, and you can maybe put that towards a grandchild one day. But the big thing that has occurred in the last couple of years is that you can transfer up to $35,000 into a Roth IRA for that beneficiary over several years. So that money can roll over into a Roth IRA if you have excess funds or have funds left over. And then that money is yours. So you can always withdraw it. There just might be a penalty if you're not withdrawing it for a qualifying expense.
Okay. Now, Bethany, I mean, as well as I and anyone else how tight so many people's budgets are right now. I mean, I'm looking at the price of eggs and counting every dollar,
Right.
as are so many people. So convince us to basically invest in these things early. Like, what does the, year over year look like when you invest a little bit early? Is it really worth it in the long run rather than putting it off?
Right. So what I like to say, and there have been studies also that have proven that kids who know that someone is saving money for their future education expenses or just for their future, that they have more positive outcomes in their future. So it didn't matter the amount that you were saving; it was just the knowledge that someone believed in them enough to put money on that. And also, it doesn't matter the amount that you are saving. The fact that you are saving today means that that's less money that that child may have to borrow in the future. And as we know, student loans can really spiral out of control, that interest. So any way that you can cut down the amount that's borrowed in the future is going to matter. But the big thing is compound growth. So you put your money in, and it's going to, hopefully it's going to get earnings, and those earnings are also going to be put together with that initial contribution, and you're going to keep on building on that. So it's really the power of compounding growth. No matter how little you're putting in, I can't encourage you to do that, and especially saving early and saving consistently, and is really going to put you in a great position in the future, because it's going to cut down on those expenses in the future that may have some kind of lasting financial impact on the child.
Yeah, I'm not good at math, but they have these online tools where you can put it in and kind of estimate what that might look like after so many years, and it really is impressive. Bethany, I want to ask you one last question, and maybe this is showing my ignorance on this topic, but I never really understood why each state has their own 529. Like, why not make it a federal program? And is there, like, if my daughter, for instance, doesn't go to school in Georgia, or if she does, like, is there a difference there?
So that's another excellent question. So to address your first question, so to when you invest in a 529 plan, you are not, regardless if it's Georgia or if it's in another state's plan, you are able to go to school anywhere that is a qualifying education institution. So that could even mean an international school as well if you're doing a study abroad program. But so investing your money with Path to College doesn't mean that your child has to go to a school in Georgia. And then your second question, I believe, was why does the state have a program and it's not a federal program? So that's just the way it was set up by the federal legislature. And what is unique about not having it be a federal plan is that we, as Path to College, are able to put back into our communities. We have several sweepstakes that we do in partnership with several state agencies, such as our Path from Pre-K to College sweepstakes, where we award $1,529 each year to 4 pre-K attendees, and that the school gets a matching $1,529. We do newborn sweepstakes, where a newborn for the year wins, and they win $5,529 in an account. So we're able to do some education and outreach that is specific to our state, because we are state run. And we are also, when we are choosing investment options or looking at designing the plan, we are looking at the needs of Georgians. So it's really specifically tailored for those in Georgia. And one of the benefits of it not being a federal plan, that we have our own state run plan.
Okay, that's great to know. My 13-month-old is just on the verge of saying mama instead of blowing raspberries in my face. So I'm thinking Harvard. I think we're on the
There you
track.
go.
So I need to start saving now. Bethany, anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Yeah, if you have any questions, or want to learn more about Path to College, you can go to our website at www.path2college529.com.
All right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate all your insight. This has been great.